The following is purely for educational purposes. None of the included video and audio can be construed as legal advice. You are advised to seek legal counsel wherever possible. Have a nice day. They didn't give full disclosure, right? They didn't risk any of the money. I'm just reiterating what's called. Oh, anyway, it's a pillar of law, maxim. It's a maxim of law. It's contracts. Contracts are the basics of law in society. So I'm just reiterating that and saying, look, the defendant risked none of their money and did not disclose the source of funds on this loan to me, and therefore, without full disclosure, this loan is done in fraud. It's void from the beginning. Okay, that's what I'm saying. And they did conduct the contract in fraud. They intentionally misrepresented and purported. They market themselves as a loan provider and represent the conventional common use of the term loan, whereby one party takes their money and lends it to another party, right? This is not what they actually did. They took none of their own money, and they, in other words, they deliberately misrepresented. So this is they're guilty of fraud, in fact, because they knowingly and purposely misrepresented the transaction, making this null and void. Okay, they conducted fraud in inducement. They purposely and knowingly set up the condition to induce me to induce the plaintiff into signing the proposed loan designed to cause financial harm and hardship to the plaintiff. They misrepresented the true nature of the transaction, thus guilty of fraud in inducement. So the idea is we want to create as many claims as possible. It's not trumped up claims. These are real claims. And because what the judge is going to say is, okay, they're guilty of 5 and not guilty of 3, but still they're more guilty than they're not. So the more claims that you have, the better your case becomes against the defendant. Okay, you have real reasons for why there's injustice and harm done to you. The defendant practiced intimidation and extortion. Right? They failed to produce valid proof of claim, and yet they issued a notice of default, and they have not identified. They still haven't identified who the hold in due course is, whether they have authority to collect, or they have, and yet they seek to intimidate the plaintiff, and with the intent of unlawfully stealing the plaintiff's house without proper proof of claim or standing. So they're stealing my house and they're intimidating my abode, threatening me because they still haven't got any proof of claim, and yet they want to be bullies. And state law requires to collect debt without proof of claim using intimidation and threats amounts to extortion. They're practicing extortion on me, and I don't think that's right. So for a well-established financial institution to have such blatant disregard of the plaintiff's rights and the law is not only immoral, it is illegal. So I thought that's kind of a nice touch. All right, the plaintiff is causing liable damage to my good name. Okay, instead of acknowledging that this debt is in dispute, they went ahead and reported to the credit bureaus, smearing my name. And it's important for my name because I need that to borrow money, buy automobile, other financial transactions. Many employers use my credit rating as the judge of character, and now they've destroyed my good name, and that's not right. And so I'm asking them to do what's right by me. Right? Before this, my FICO score was above 720, and now as a result of this, mainly caused by them, my score is blah. So again, which is causing more reasons for the judge to say, you know, these guys are scums. They have done the plaintiff wrong and they deserve a judgment. All right, so now the conclusion, basically, we're summarizing the facts of the matter and why there's overwhelming evidence. Basically, I'm just summarizing. So there's overwhelming evidence in favor of the plaintiff, and the defendant is seemingly too big to bother answering annoying little questions from their customers, whereas the plaintiff was simply trying to discover the true nature of the relationship. So we're the victim here. So contrary to conventional foreclosure pleadings, the plaintiff is the victim in this situation and moves this court to honor their oath of office by ruling based on evidence presented before this court rather than predisposition or preconception. The court is not allowed to do that. All right, they are required to rule based on evidence of law. And we've got an affidavit, right? We've written an affidavit in support of all the things that we've said, and so that becomes evidence. And the other side does not have any evidence, and they, unless they're willing to go on to testify the evidence, they have inferior evidence against us. So it's we have a very strong case, and now basically I'm just reminding the judge that to be lawful, to be honorable. Okay, all men and women are entitled to a fair trial. I mean, that's a fact. Okay, no one is above the law, at least in the Western world anyway, where there is a rule of law. Rather than a rule of force like many dictatorships. Okay, so just want to share that with you, and then we just have to pray for relief. What we want release of claim. We want to remove derogatories. We want to have all of our monies returned to us, including interest and reconveyance, etc. So that's kind of what the pleading looks like, and then I have certification, verification, and then my evidences that I presented to the court. I hope this has been helpful for you, and this is what I'm doing for my kids in my packet. Have a nice day.